Welcome to Perfect-ish, where it's not about having perfect time management, but about perfecting your relationship with time. I'm your host, Callie Brigham, and every week we'll talk all things time and how to maximize it without burnout or guilt. Whether we're chatting with an expert or I'm sharing my 20 years of time management experience, you'll learn simple strategies to make every moment count. Here, it's all about getting close to perfect-ish. So let's synchronize our watches and dive in. Hi, friend. So about a year ago, we started a new tradition here on Perfect-ish. Last October, it was my daughter's birthday, Maddie's birthday, and it was on a Tuesday. And Tuesdays are the day that new episodes drop. So thought it would be a perfect time for her to record an episode. And y'all loved it. Well, fast forward a few months, and we were in the month of February, and my son Braden's birthday was on a Tuesday. And I thought, well, let's just keep this rolling. So he recorded an episode. Y'all loved it. Fast forward a few more months. It was my dad's birthday in June, and guess what day his birthday fell on? Tuesday. So we had to have Dave on the show, and y'all loved it. Now, let me also say that my grandma, who's 101, she's been on the show. You loved her. She was the very first guest, the matriarch, Grandma Deedle. And then my mom was also on the show. So I don't want to leave anybody out. However, there's one more person that you've not heard from. Today is Tuesday. It's October 7th. It's his birthday. And that's my husband, Josh. So we had to have Josh on the show, not because he was the last one, he hasn't been on and it's a Tuesday, but because I know that you probably want to meet him. You hear me talk about him for 2 years on the episodes, and you're in luck. He's here sitting next to me. Hey, Josh, welcome to the show.
Hello. It's really cool to be here. I've heard about all these amazing guests and family members that have been on here, and I hope it's not a matter of just me being the last one, but hopefully it's the best for last here.
Oh, okay.
But hey, the pressure is on. The family members alone have been spectacular. The guests that you've had on here have been amazing as well. So I'm going to subscribe to try to be as perfect-ish as I can here. But yeah, a lot of pressure coming in here after all these people have come before me. So yeah, I'm excited about it.
That's true. And I also gave you the least amount of time to prepare.
That also is true. Yes, that's a true statement.
Any other guest. We've been traveling a lot. We've been out of town. And it was one of those things where I said, oh, yeah, Tuesday, it's your birthday and we need to record an episode. And we sat down, said a little prayer, and here we go. But honestly, if you and I can't have a good, vibrant conversation after all of these years, and we're going to let everybody peek behind the curtain for that too. So I just want to say, first of all, happy birthday.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, this is quite a treat to add to the birthday celebration for sure.
I'm sure there's nothing else you could think of to celebrate your birthday.
Well, you do. You know, I love this kind of stuff. So yeah, I was hopeful.
You love this. You love taking pictures because you know that we don't just take one picture. We have
It's true. Yeah, you take 1,000.
Take a lot of pictures.
But we always get some good ones. So that's all that matters.
Do. And then we look back over the years, and we are really glad that we took all those pictures.
We are. Yes, we are.
I will say it's pretty cute. Earlier in the summer, I gave a time management tip that I have taken to heart, and it's been one of the favorite things that I've ever done. And it is a way to clear out your photos on your phone. And as most of you know, and many of you are doing and subscribing to, we go to the search bar, we put in today's date, but no year, and then we look at all of the memories from that particular day. So of course, we're going to do that on October 7th. We're going to see all of the wonderful things that we've done. But it's been so fun because we walk down memory lane. We've had a lot of years together, and we look at the pictures. We just get a little tear in our eye of our babies growing up. And then we remember how hard it was. And then we're grateful that we have kids that can drive and make their own breakfast and all those things too. But we've had a lot of life together. We've spent a lot of time together, and we're going to talk about some different seasons. And I just want to say that right before we pressed record, you said something that I thought was really powerful and really true. And it was, as we were just brainstorming a couple different topics, you said that your story is my story and it's really our story.
Yeah, it's true.
And when you meet in college like we did, most of our adult life really has been spent together and learning about each other and growing together and being different in many ways. But at the same time, I think we've done a pretty decent job at, I guess, the Jerry Maguire line, like, "You complete me."
Oh, you completely stole my line is what just
I
happened.
did. See,
But
we
hey, we're right there
Oh, I'm
together.
sorry.
That's
We
just
don't
fine.
edit the show, otherwise I
Yeah.
would Oh, I stole it?
No, I love it, but it's true. Yeah, we've all heard opposites attract, right? There's a little more positive spin, Hollywood type spin of "you complete me," but hey, I think we're all looking for people that kind of make us whole, right? Instead of just what we bring to the table, we're looking for complementary um, skill sets, I guess. Lack of a better way to put that, but yeah.
That's right, and we'll probably share a few of the ways that we are opposite, and that has made us so great together because of how opposite. I mean, should we just talk about the curtain hanging? Well, should we just get that out of the way?
Absolutely. I mean, that's a perfect place to start, and it is in a nutshell, describes our personalities and how we operate for sure. Yeah.
Yes. Who wants to tell the story?
Well, I have a feeling even if I start it, you're gonna finish it. Is kind of typically how that works.
And
But
by
while
who
I
wants to
was,
tell the
yeah,
story?
yeah,
I'll tell the
yeah,
story.
you had, we were getting kids' bedrooms complete. I know you were feeling a little bit of the urgency on that, not necessarily nesting, but there was just the honeydew list was long, and we're trying to work our way through that uh, at our own pace, and my pace is often a little different from yours. And so I was in New Orleans with my brother, my dad, and probably my brother-in-law or nephew, one of those trips, and which we would do once a year and have a big boys trip. And it just so happened that while I was away enjoying myself, that honeydew list was getting tackled by my honey.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I will say that, and I'm sure many of you can relate, whether it is your spouse or whether it is your best friend or whether it's somebody very close to you, that it is true that usually you're drawn to each other because of your things you have in common, but also because your differences. And it really, the world needs both of those. So when I do a task, my primary focus is speed. Like, when I want something done and I get the idea, I want it done right now, right now. My daughter has inherited that, and I'm so sorry, honey. You live with 2 women, and I will say that in all seriousness, I have noticed that in her, and it's not always awesome being on the receiving end because
Mm,
when she wants something done immediately and I'm currently doing something else or it's just not the time that I wanna do it, I will say I've learned that maybe it doesn't feel awesome to be the person that is also, around the house when this happens. So I wanted some curtains hung. We were moving and changing Maddie's room from her little baby nursery to a big girl room, and I just wanted these filmy little green curtains hung in her room. I think I probably had that on the honey-do list for a little bit,
maybe.
for a
Yeah.
while. Okay.
For a minute or two. Yeah.
So my primary is that it gets done fast. Your primary is that it gets done right. Will that be
That's a
accurate?
Yes, that's accurate.
Okay.
I will raise my hand and absolutely admit that I can fall into the trap of the analysis paralysis, the perfection paralysis, whatever you want to call that. I absolutely will, in my efforts and desire to do stuff perfectly, will oftentimes procrastinate and prolong things that when I could just let's carve out some time and knock it out. So yeah, guilty as charged.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I would say like done is better than perfect, right? And yours is perfectly done is the perfect way to do it.
Yeah.
And again, you're going to make sure that everything is level, everything is right. So setting up the stage, my dad is probably also more like me. Let's have an idea, let's do it today. No matter how big the task is, let's just knock it out. You're out of town and I say today's the day. I can't wait any longer. I'm done. And my dad says, let's do it. I should also clarify that almost any DIY project that my dad has ever done has needed to then be finished by a professional, which so he also is very rarely does projects. So when he does them, there's probably a chance that something major is going to go wrong with the project. It's going to cost a lot more money, a lot more time. But I didn't care about that in that moment. I just wanted these daggum curtains hung. So my dad comes over. We're like, how hard could this be? You have two people that don't care about measuring things, about getting rulers out, about getting levels out. We just think, let's eyeball it. I'll stand here on the bed. You tell me higher or lower. Let's put some nails in the wall for crying out loud. Let's throw it up. Oops, it's a little bit higher on the right side. No worries. Take that nail out, put another nail in, because at this point, I'm thinking the curtain is going to hide all of the nail holes that are behind it. And then by the time we move out, we're going to have to patch the original nail hole. So the difference in patching 10 nail holes, so the moral of the story is you come home, the curtains are hung. They're a little bit janky. They might fall out of the wall, but those curtains, those curtains were there until we moved out and then we had to patch all the holes.
Yeah. Well, let's just say when I was on my way home, uh, and you told me that you were hanging curtains,
Maybe with a little attitude, there's a chance.
there was some attitude, and
Little
then
attitude.
then the news that you had enlisted your dad to help you, I was just
Scared.
no clue what I was going to walk into when I got home, and it lived up to my expectations. There were, yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of holes needed to be patched. Hey, the curtains were hung. It got done, so we can patch stuff after the fact. It's all good.
Yeah. So I learned a couple things through that and over the years. And the first thing, in all seriousness, I did learn that number one, if I gave you a little bit more freedom in it and also a little bit more time and didn't sort of come and demand that I wanted something done right away, something like, hey, this is whatever project. When would be a good time for you to do it? Or is there any way that you would be able to do this by the end of such and such? Or we have people coming over. Would you be able? So that helped a little bit, I think. So I think giving you a little bit more say in it and also extending the time in which I would prefer for that to be done instead of like, hey, I need it done in the next 5 seconds. I did learn that, number one. I did also learn that now anytime I walk through the house with a hammer in my hand, it really does get done right away because you're like, no, give me that. And so I
Yes,
did
for sure.
learn slight manipulation. Probably the previous one is better, but I did also learn that sometimes I just need to get it done right now.
Yeah. Well, hey, we have learned how to work with each other alongside each other over the years. Our it is true. Our greatest strengths are oftentimes our greatest weakness, depending on the situation. And I know, uh, I know that things can get done a certain way if I put some time and effort into it, and instead of kind of waiting for the perfect opportunity or when I'm ready. Our timelines are usually not synced up that way. So when I see you or I'm trying to sit down, maybe watch a ball game, and I hear dishes being done, like there's in my personality, it's so funny. I can't. I just know. Hey, I'm going to stop the game right now and go help you finish some dishes because I can't even sit and enjoy this. I'm hearing stuff being done, and I kind of feel like there's that stress factor of like I'm doing dishes, and my husband's sitting in there watching some ball games. So typical relationship stuff. And hey, I wish I could tell you we had it perfected and figured out right now, but we're a lot further down that road than we were when we started for sure. So I don't know with different personalities that will ever be perfect, but we'll get close to perfect ish best we can. And yeah, like you said, that was a great observation with Maddie. You know, there those personality traits. We've got a son who's wired a little bit like me, and I see, sometimes those personality traits as a father and being on the receiving end. Sometimes those aren't fantastic. So yeah, it's good. It's good context to kind of figure that stuff out and do a little self reflection and introspection. Just so we can get better.
And for the most part, maybe not immediately, but for the most part, I think we also have learned to laugh a lot and to try to lighten the moment.
Yeah.
We're not really big arguers or fighters. Sometimes we more probably withdraw with I guess we're having a counseling session right now. However, I will say humor really does, I
Yeah,
think, help a lot.
for sure. And we do have fun together.
We do.
Yeah.
And I think seeing ourselves and our kids also, that mirror has been both really helpful, a little convicting, all those things too. One of the things I think that we've also learned with our kids is there are some things that, frankly, I just need or like to get done on a weekend. And I do have to stop and say that for some people, the weekend really needs to be a time of rest. I'm working on it. I really am. I'm getting better and I'm working on that. But I also know, again, the week is coming and there's some things to get done. So, one of the things that we'll do, we have a family text thread, and I will text out some things that need to happen that the kids need to be involved in. I do put emojis on them. I'm sure it makes it so much more fun when,
Oh, yeah, it makes it so, just softens it
yeah,
quite a bit. Yeah, it's fun. The
I
emojis.
will say they have to pick up after the dog. And so
Yeah.
there's a certain emoji that, well, we call it poop patrol. So I'm sure the poop emoji makes it so much more fun. But, anyways, we don't tell them exactly when they have to do things unless they need to. It's just that they have the independence that this is the weekend. Me personally, I like to work first, then play. So I'm going to get my work done first, and then I'll lay on the couch with my Kindle on the front porch and read forever. But if somebody else needs a little bit more downtime first to recharge and then get it done. So I've learned to kind of back off on that a little bit. And as long as it gets done by the end of the weekend, it's up to each individual when they do it.
Yeah. That's true, and I certainly lean into the resting first, and then when I'm feeling rested enough to get my stuff done, then we jump in. But
Yeah, then we
it's
panic and we
yeah,
it's
yeah.
10 o'clock on Sunday night.
I'm
No,
just blaming the early kickoff times for the Premier League soccer games, on Saturday. So
Saturday
we got to do our
mornings.
research and be a true fan. So yeah,
That's true.
yeah,
That's true. Well, I think one of the reasons that I bring this up is the differences in the two of us. I tend to be a little bit more task oriented. That's just how I'm wired. I'm wired to do the task. I think that a lot of the tasks that I do build relationships around me. I have very, very strong and close and deep relationships. The task just kind of is where I begin. You, however, and one of the things that I loved about you when I first met you, and then we fell in love, and then we got married and had kids, and was that you are relationship first. And that is just where you go first. You take the time, you listen, you are intentional in that. And I think that is such a wonderful quality. The people that I surround myself with have that great quality. So obviously I'm drawn to it. And I know that that's been a big piece of how you prioritize things, how you prioritize your time, how you prioritize things at work too. So if you want to just kind of speak a little bit about that, again, we look at life in different lenses. I think we have the same ultimate goal, but we certainly get there a little bit differently.
yeah. We do, and I love that about you. I'm drawn and attracted to doers and big personalities, and ambition, and you by no means were any kind of wallflower when we first met, and we had a um, great friendship and flirtatious relationship. But yeah, I love that you were fun and outgoing and put yourself out there, and that kind of stuff's attractive to me, for sure. Never mind that you were beautiful as
Oh,
well.
honey.
So, but yeah, I'm just naturally a relational kind of guy. But it's funny you say that because I've got a lot of strong um, friendships, yet I will be the first one to sit and like, man, I have not been a great friend and reached out to so and so and texted them and checked in on them, or just anything. So I'm definitely not impervious to life and busyness of schedule getting in the way. Just on the personal side of things and friendship side, luckily we've both got fantastic friends that even distance in time. And I've got two fantastic siblings that can attest to this. When they bust my chops about, I didn't even know you're still alive. It's been like a month since you've reached out to me. Um, so yeah, it's important to me when I've got some stuff to work on that end. But on the professional side of things, yeah, um, really more than anything, I've kind of been on both sides of things. I've done a traditional like employee route. I've worked for myself, kind of freelance, and I'm in a position of leadership at ProClean, where we are a family business now. And I took a lot of the years of being on the employment side and having different types of managers or bosses and things like that. Leading up to that, and really, kind of like anything, you learn what you like, you learn what you don't like really quickly. And, I learned more than anything, especially the kind of work that we do at ProClean. It is hard. And it's stressful emotionally and physically. The hours can be brutal sometimes. And, um, it was important to me that we make the environment and at least the personal side of things as best we can be something that is not going to contribute to people not enjoying work. The work itself is difficult enough. We didn't need to add to it with the other ways. So for me, uh, I don't I don't want at all anyone ever like waking up in the morning and literally like dreading coming to work. I've been there. It's miserable. It's a miserable existence. So, it's important to me that, and it's kind of cliche that, we're family and all this kind of stuff, like we do our best to make it that way as best we can. And, it'll never replicate that. But yeah, it's important. It's important that our people feel valued, and there's honor in what they do. And, that there's an appreciation for what they contribute. So yeah, it's definitely something I prioritize. So
And it shows, and I've watched you do it from the very beginning. So for those that don't know, Josh, so we met in college. He got a degree in graphic design and commercial art. My degree was in television, news, and film. We went about our merry way in what we thought would be our careers. And you had a very successful career in advertising and then your own design firm. And the opportunity came to join our family business back in 2012. And you took the route that what we do is emergency services restoration. So water damage, mold, fire. Some of you that listen to my dad's episode know some of that, and much more. But that's the heart and soul of what we do. And you started from the very entry level. Now you're in leadership there, but it was really important to you that you learn what these guys and girls are doing day to day. You got in with them, you learned. And I remember some situations because when an emergency happens, it can happen any time of day, oftentimes in the middle of the night, oftentimes when other people are like a hurricane happens and other people are hunkering down, you guys are getting ready to go work 24/7. And I remember one day in particular, just it's a lot of manual labor, it's mental, it's physical, and you knew that these guys had just been crushing it for such a long time, and you just thought they're hungry. And I'll never forget, on your own dime, you went and you bought a bunch of probably like McDonald's hamburgers or something, and just went and brought it to them. And those little things, making time for those things, it really matters. And then I remember, and I know this is your episode, but I'm speaking life about you, but I remember that this was new for us. We had 2 little ones at home, and you were learning to navigate this new position, and people from the very beginning knew that they could trust you and talk to you, and they needed to talk to you, whether it was on a professional or personal level. But it was a real struggle for me because you would get done with the job, and again, you were on call. I was used to being home because you'd work from home. We've got these 2 little ones. I have a business, and you would say that you would be coming home at 5. And in my mind, that meant you were coming home and walking through the door at 5 o'clock, and I could tag you, and you could take over these crazy kids. And then I would be ready, and I would get a message from you or a phone call or a text or something that you hadn't even left, and it was 5 o'clock. And I would get so mad, and you would say, "Well, yeah, but so and so needed to talk to me." And I'm thinking, "Yeah, but I needed you. I needed you at
Yeah.
home." And so we did finally, by the way, come up with the solution to that was you were not allowed to tell me that you were coming home until you had actually pulled out of it wasn't
Yeah.
even that you were in the car, because somebody could knock on, and they did. They'd knock on your truck window, and you'd stay there
Yeah.
another 30 minutes. But you were willing to make that investment at the very beginning in people and the culture, and I'll get to that in a minute. The culture of the company is so solid because someone like you would take the time to do that. I had to learn as the wife at home how to be okay with that, but we also that was a communication piece about time too. It was figuring out how both of us could handle this new position that you had.
Yeah, for sure. That's nice of you to say about the culture. I'll just quickly throw in, it was important to me, but it was also important to find like-minded people or people who were open to the idea of really culturing that, or fostering that culture, I should say. So we've got some phenomenal people up there. And I would say I have a very small part in all that. They've taken that torch and ran with it for sure. But this job is not, that career is not for the faint of heart, just in general. But you throw in, I mean, they were what? How old were the kids? They were toddlers,
They were
infant and
2
toddler,
2
basically,
yeah,
right?
like, almost 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I mean, tough age to begin with,
yeah.
right? Like all things career wise, like even if those were perfect, just tough, super fun age, but tough age. So you throw in, you're an entrepreneur, you're just awesome girl boss running an amazing business and like basically full-time mom at the same time. And I had been home up to that point, and we had, split the day, shared a schedule, had our system in place where we could both be productive, both spend time with the kids. Um, and that part was hard for me, making that decision. It was hard on a lot of levels, but I had a couple of years with them as absolute, tiny little babies, toddlers. Those were priceless times that I wouldn't trade for anything. Just being able to spend that time with them and be around and be able to experience all that. So that was a tough decision just on its own, leaving that behind. That just availability and time spent with them. But I know for you, it rocked your world just from a schedule standpoint. And I know it was not easy. We had many conversations about it, good and bad. And the bad ones being like, hey, we gotta learn how to make the best of this, because we felt like we had prayed through that situation and had kind of followed where the Lord was leading at that time. Um, so we didn't feel like we had made the wrong decision, but within that, you got to kind of figure out the nuances, right? And like, how can we make this work? What works best? You still had life to live and business to run and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it was very challenging. And in addition to me, yeah, of course, just feeling like I needed to jump in. I mean, like anything, you need to kind of get in there and get your hands dirty and learn the business for one, but also learn and earn and earn the respect of anybody that's going to be working with me, alongside me, things like that. So yeah, the very, very drastic life change from where we had been leading up to that, for sure. So
Yeah. And, I think one of the things that makes me think about, because we've had a lot of different seasons. I've just alluded to a few of them, but we've had a lot of different seasons. As I mentioned, we met in college, then we lived on our own, then we got married, then all the different seasons that everybody has in their life. But I'll never forget, and I think maybe this has kind of been the overriding um, mantra for us. Is it was right after Braden was born, and you know how your world gets completely turned upside down when you have your first child, if those of you that have experienced that. And you have this precious new newborn, and it's supposed to be all like fairy tales and whatever, and you're exhausted. You're like, for me, I'm hormonal, the whole thing. And you can't take out any of that on this new baby. So there's only one other person around to take it out on. And as I mentioned, we just neither one of us are really like the fighter kind. We're lovers, not fighters. But we were at each other. And because again, no sleep and everything new and all of that kind of thing. And I remember one time just like stopping and saying, we have got to be on the same team. Like, we are opponents right now. I want to win, you want to win. Who's more tired? Who's more this? Who put in more? And we have got to be on the same team. And again, there are many times we've been married 21 years. There's many times that we have gone against each other. We've been on rival teams, and we've just had to stop and say, listen, at the end of the day, we're on the same team. And when you're on the same team, you might have different parts to play, but we have the same goal and we want to win at this too. So again, lots of mistakes, lots of errors, lots of being at each other, but when we remind each other, we're on the same team. And Josh, I think about all the different years and the seasons where I used to have a sales meeting on Monday nights, and we would see each other in passing. I had the kids at home, we'd see each other in passing. I don't even know what happened for dinner. I think y'all went Mondays at Moe's, or you went out here on the beach somewhere for dinner, but we would see each other for just a quick minute, or getting kids to soccer practices and all of that. And it was just a dance, maybe like it's just a dance of, in this season, you're going this way, I'm going this way. Nobody's job is more important than the other. And I don't mean like occupation job, but the things that we do. And you've been always so great too about, we're a team at home. We have different distinct roles as a man and a woman and a husband and a wife, but at the same time, we're on the same team. And so just kind of like weaving our way here through our story, I do want to say that one more thing about the relationship and the culture that has stood out to me, and I will never, ever, ever forget as long as I live. You have taken on a new role this year. We're going to talk about that in a second. I'm sleeping with my son's soccer coach. Josh is the head coach of our school, our high school varsity soccer team, and JV. We've had a JV team this year too. And that's a new position. You were assistant coach last year. Our son's a junior this year. You're head coach, along with our awesome assistant coach, Coach V. Shout out. And we have summer soccer league that doesn't count for anything as far as the our conference or any of that, but it's a chance for our boys to get touches during the summer, and they play other schools around the city, and they play on Monday nights. And again, it's friendly, it's a shortened field, but it just really gets them in the groove. It gets you a chance to see the boys, it gets you a chance to get some coaching in. And these are, again, high school boys. Well, our son, who's 16, Braden, this was his summer job, was at Pro Clean, a man job, like steel toe boots, leaving before 7, getting a paycheck, getting taxes taken out, tithing, the whole thing, learning all these things. And 2 of his other classmates also did that this summer. So they're working with all of the people, all the guys that you and our other leaders of our company are leading the way for them. And one particular Monday night, I'm just sitting there, got my phone out, ready to video the game. And all of a sudden, one by one by one by one, our entire water damage department, who these boys have worked with over the summer, these teenage boys, come out. They have signs and bullhorns. They brought their girlfriends and their boyfriends and their dogs, and they've got chairs and blankets. And in that moment, what they did for those 3 young boys and surprise them by coming to their soccer game. First of all, I don't think they'll ever forget. Second of all, I know it made you so proud to be part of that. And third of all, that you can't make that culture up. And that's when taking time for relationships played out in a way that I'll never forget. And I know that made an impact for you. So if you want to speak to that a little bit, and then I do want to talk about what it's like to coach high school boys. You've made
Sure.
time for that. This will be like a good little cherry on top because soccer's been a huge part of your life. Leadership, coaching, take it away, kind of give us a
Sure.
little
Sure.
taste of that.
Yeah, so I will say this in case anybody's listening from the ProClean family, the rebuild and cleaning and
Pardon me.
administrative
Thank you
staff.
for
Yeah.
okay. Thank you
So
for yes.
yeah, we had I mean, I know it impacted you. You've talked about it several times, even gotten emotional about it. Um, what a cool experience that was. And again, I will reiterate, I am at this point just a small part of the culture. Um, I found out I think maybe a couple of days before because the um some of the ladies at the office had come to me like, hey, I want to make a poster for so and so, things like that. So I had no idea they initiated this. um, I mean, just these guys are working hard, but I mean, they're basically summer help, summer interns for that matter. And the fact that they just welcome them, embrace them, and uh, just brought them in as family, even though they were there just for a few weeks. I mean, it speaks volumes to the type of people that they are and who we have working for us. And um, it was an unbelievable night and unbelievable memories. I mean, such a cool thing. And yeah, the boys, Braden, my son, and his buddies Robert and Nathan, like they still to this day talk about it and just blown away by that. So yeah, it was amazing. And again, just one other just snapshot of who they are. And yeah, we're fortunate to have them in our life for sure. So yeah, the coaching thing has been awesome. I mean, just to sum it up in one word, they had talked a little bit with me at the my son's school or our children's school, I should say. They had talked to me maybe last year about what coaching might look like, and I said, well, hey, let me dip my toe in just a little bit. Let me see. There was another father who had a senior that year who'd been coaching. I mean, the school was lucky; they had some incredible coaches, like tenured, long term. I mean, for over 10 years, I believe, probably maybe even 15. So I had some pretty big shoes to fill, needless to say, but I said, let me dip my toe in a little bit and kind of see what that looks like, because that was daunting to me, to come in and think about developing from scratch in my mind, like what does tryouts look like? What does summer look like? What is summer league? What kind of system and all? Not to get down in the weeds with that stuff, but there's a lot to kind of wrap my head around.
And the
And
time too, the
yeah,
time invested as
yeah, and
well.
I wasn't sure what that was going to look like. So after having a year as an assistant coach, yeah, I've had the pleasure of stepping in this year as head coach, and it's been awesome. I absolutely am still learning every day. I all the stuff I just rattled off, I by no means figured out or mastered, but it's a little bit of a work in progress every day. But um, just been a fantastic experience. The boys are great. I mean, most of them I know well. Some of them I didn't. And some of the younger ones maybe that our kids are a little bit older. Just getting to know them. It's been so cool, really, kind of seeing at this point, where they are in their skill set and just their overall knowledge of what they're doing versus where they were when they started. That's rewarding in and of itself. It's cool for them to see, the fruits of their labor, but it's just cool as a coach to see, the progress we've made as a team. Um, you know, I, it's probably wired this way. There's still things I look back on, man, I wish I could do more of this, or wish I could get to know these guys a little bit better on a different level. And, when you have the responsibility of coaching young men at this age, there's at least for me, a desire to how can I help them as young men, as in addition to just teaching them the game of soccer, right? So that part's been, trying to figure out the nuances of all that. But it's been awesome. It's been great. We just played our last regular season game and have playoffs coming up. So we're excited about
Go
that.
Knights.
Yeah, go Knights. So, yeah, very excited about that. We got a lot of hard work these next couple of weeks. Hopefully, we can make some noise in the playoffs. So it's exciting.
I'll have my phone ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready to I'm ready to film it.
Yeah. Did you tell everybody you are the assistant, the unofficial assistant coach of the team?
I
Don't know
am.
if you
I
have.
am.
Yeah.
There's one
Yeah.
coach on the side where the boys are sitting, and then the assistant coach, and then I'm the assistant to
Yeah.
the assistant coach on the side where the fans are.
Yeah.
Just in case anybody needs me, I'm there. I'm also the assistant AR, or the ref that is on the sideline, and sometimes the assistant to the main ref. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
But they don't know that walking into the game, but they
No, but
find
they'll
out.
find out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They find out
they'll find it.
quickly.
But I'm very lovely. I don't
Yeah.
get in fights or anything like that. But
Yeah.
I also have the VAR, if any of you, which is the video recording in case there's a bad call.
Yeah, you are the official, unofficial videographer for the team. That is for sure. So
All the
yeah, you've
things. All the
done a
things.
great job. I know the families and school and staff appreciate
I hope so.
you being dialed in and taking videos of everybody. So
I hope
yeah,
so.
yeah,
Well, and as a family, years ago, we made the decision that this was going to be part of our life, that soccer, you grew up playing soccer, you infused that love in our son, and we've infused a love of sports and athletics. And I think one of the things that has been said too is that this is a modern day battlefield for
yeah,
these young
yeah,
men, right? Many of them are not going to go off to war. This is the way that they honorably battle, which is what a young man wants to do. Fight for something, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and to echo my point a minute ago, that's the kind of stuff I think about. What can I do to help them in this battle of life as young men? Again, it's almost like work. When I think about leading in that capacity, hey, I've played on a lot of teams. I played a lot of different sports growing up. Had all kinds of different coaches. Some I loved, again, some I did not love. So that's been interesting talking to my children as they play different sports, and maybe they feel the same way sometimes, and just kind of talking about, hey, not this is your opportunity to get a well-rounded view of what coaches and different leaders can look like in your life. And maybe that's just who you have for a season. And it builds character, but it also forms who they're going to be later on. So I think about that again, just from a coaching standpoint with these young men. Like, how did I like to be coached? How did I receive things well? So it's been a good opportunity to to kind of implement some of that stuff from my experiences growing up. So, but yeah, you're right. These are, especially in this day and age, this world we live in, our man, the battlefield looks a lot different than it did when we were growing up in the glorious 80s. If I just dated myself there, but man, it our world looks a lot different right now. So, big responsibility to prepare them for life and battle, and that this is what it looks like to compete and put your best effort into things and chase goals. So yeah, it's been cool, been really neat.
Yeah, to win, lose, and learn. It's a
Yeah.
microcosm of life. And by the way, I think that they say that we grew up in the 1900s. I think that's also the
Oh
thing now.
man.
Yeah. But anyways, but it's true. And we have purposefully made time as a family over many, many years to spend a lot of time with our kids on the pitch, on the volleyball court, on doing that. Our faith is our most important part of our and component of our family, and then our family time. And it's given us, even though we've said no to other things or it's been crazy and we've had to make some sacrifices here and there, we've said yes to what that has looked like for our family. And I'm really glad. And I'm just going to go ahead and say this too. Braden is well, with his hair, he is about caught up to his dad. So he's about 6'3", especially with his cleats on. His growth plates are still open. He's a goalkeeper. He's amazing. So who knows, an awesome D1, D2 coach in like the Southeast area, preferably within driving distance of the Florida Gulf Coast, that is looking for a goalkeeper. I know somebody knows somebody.
Somebody knows somebody.
Somebody knows somebody. He's going to be even taller. He's a goalkeeper. He's cute as could be. He's an awesome kid. Let's get this kid playing college soccer. I don't want to only have another year and a half to watch him. So
yeah,
yeah,
that's true.
Yeah. So, well, babe, this has been so
great.
Yeah. And it's not done yet because, as you know, I always give a gift. It's your birthday, so you get a gift, but everybody gets a gift at the end of my show. And it's a pretend gift, but it's still a gift. It's the gift of a bonus hour. So I gave you an extra 60 minutes. There's no honey-do list. There's no poop patrol. There's no curtains that have to be hung. I'm going to leave you alone for your extra bonus hour. What would you do with the bonus hour?
Wow. Like with anything? Like go back in the day or look forward or
I mean, listen, I don't put parameters on this.
Yeah.
It's your thing.
Man. I don't know. I'm going to get pretty emotional right now. I'm sitting here at your desk and there's a picture. Yeah. Yep. Of my parents who are no longer with us. So yeah, I mean, it'd be pretty cool to have an extra 60 minutes with them, right? So yeah, man, I almost made it through this thing. Almost.
But you wouldn't be you if we didn't have
I'm a
that
big crybaby,
moment.
But yeah, 60 minutes probably with them would be awesome. Yeah, a lot of fantastic memories though. So
Nana and G Daddy.
Yeah.
And I have to say, one of the greatest gifts of this podcast, selfishly, all the people that I've met, all the people that I've had on, Ellie from Inheritance of Hope, I had her on a few months ago, and she was talking about legacy videos, and that's usually what a family member does prior to their passing. And I was sitting here hearing her, and I was sad because for both of your parents, it was very, really sudden and within like 4 months of each other.
Yeah.
And she told us about the legacy songs. And I knew that I cried on the podcast when she told me about it. And I said, I'm doing that immediately. And it was so great. I enrolled all of their grandkids, all Nana and G Daddy's grandkids, and we surprised you and your siblings on Memorial Day weekend. And We
Yeah, it
got to
blew
watch
us
a
away.
video.
We were not expecting that. That
Yeah,
was yeah, that was incredible.
yeah.
That was absolutely incredible. So, thank you for doing that.
Well, thanks,
Again,
Ellie. Thanks,
yeah, and
Inheritance of
Ellie, I
Hope.
mean, what a
Yeah,
gift that is to give to people. So,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, babe, I usually say that I hope that this in the next week or two that you find your extra time. And anyways, we know that on this side of things that may not be possible, but you'll have it.
Yeah,
You'll have it someday. Whew. Okay, so I think for not preparing an episode, we've done pretty good.
I think we did okay. Yeah.
We've
We did all
laughed,
right.
we've
Yeah.
cried,
And we literally cried
we
at the end.
literally cried at the
I
end.
held off as long as I
Woo!
could.
All right, all right. Well, I want to say that one of the most fun things when I had Braden on was we talked about the trip that I took with him. That was a dream of mine that I worked for 2 years to do, and the kind of the offshoot of that was the decision that you were gonna go with Maddie,
Right.
and you're gonna be going in the spring of 2026. Right
We
before this
are.
episode was recording, you all were planning all
We
the things you're
were.
doing.
And I believe, as soon as we're done,
You're
more
going back to
planning,
that? Okay,
yeah,
I'll
will
let you
be
go.
taking
She's
place.
probably
Yeah.
listen, the
I'm scared to
pace
know what she has,
booked.
planned in this
Does
last
she have your
however
credit
long
card?
50 minutes this has been. So,
She's
yeah.
booking. Yeah, y'all are going to Europe, and she's
Yeah.
probably booked all of the musicals in London already,
Yeah.
and we probably need to go. She also is at the pace in which, if she wants to plan it right now, she might be slightly irritated that we're in here taking such a long time.
She
So we
is.
probably need to go. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
But we will look forward to hearing about that trip. I'm sure at some point we'll have that.
Oh, absolutely.
That's just what our family makes time for. We make time for our faith. We make time for memories that we have together. We make time for conversations like this. And it's been a really good one.
Yeah, it has been awesome. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for having me on.
Thanks. I loved it. It was awesome. And thank you for taking the time to do it out of
Absolutely.
your busy schedule. So thank you guys for listening. Till next time, God bless. Bye.
I guess.
Thanks for tuning in to the Perfect-ish Time Management Podcast. Let's keep the fun going. Follow me on social and join our Facebook community. And if you're ready for some one-on-one time management coaching to reach the top of your game without burnout or guilt, I'd love to chat. Book a free interest call using the link in the show notes or send me a DM. And if you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a 5-star review and share it with a friend who's ready to master their time too. Remember, we're in this together, making real progress towards becoming perfect-ish.